Go inside the Crimson Tide. Tider Insider TV with Rodney Orr and Carrie Harris.
This certainly isn't your typical off-season workout program for a college football player, but nothing typical about Derrick Henry. He wants it bad. Expected to be Alabama's starting running back. Video of him flipping tires and pushing trucks has gone viral on the internet. I think it's safe to say he's doing all he can do to be in tip-top shape come football season for the Crimson Tide. And good evening, everybody. Welcome in to Tider Insider TV, presented by Buffalo Rock. Well, one chair, one person, one Pepsi Next. What does that mean? Well, Rodney Orr not with us this evening, but we do expect to have Rodney a little bit later on the telephone to answer your phone call questions and comments. So he will be with us, just not in person tonight. It does feel lonely up here, I must say that. But I got my Pepsi Next from Buffalo Rock, so yeah, the sound of delicious, refreshing taste. Try some Pepsi Next the next time you're at your grocery store. 60 calories per 12-ounce can, 2/3 less sugar than regular Pepsi, but all that great Pepsi taste. You'll love it just like I do. Let me turn it around right there. Pepsi Next, pick some up. All right, we're going to start off with the Crimson Tide baseball team. Alabama had the breakfast start to their game at the SEC tournament in their home ballpark for this year, the Hoover Metropolitan Stadium. And Alabama starter Jeffrey Bramlett was the man. Bramlett, who got the Crimson Tide's only win in Oxford last month against Ole Miss, turned in a complete game today against the Rebels in the elimination round of the SEC tournament in Hoover. He gave up 9 hits and struck out 10, didn't walk anybody. 4 of those strikeouts came against Ole Miss slugger Sykes Orvis, who came into the game with 16 home runs on the season. Bramlett, as I said, no walks, and the Tide scored all of its runs with 2 outs and booted the Rebels 6-1. Number 11 seed Alabama moves on to the double elimination round and will face Texas A&M, the number 3 seed, tomorrow morning at 9:30. TITV's Jenn Chapman and Keith Dobbins were in Hoover for the game, and Jen has more on how the Tide turned back the Rebels.
Day one of the SEC tournament means win or go home. And for Alabama, it was both. The Hoover Met, they're home this season while their on-campus stadium being renovated. And today, the Tide showing that they won a few more games in their home 41 miles away from Tuscaloosa.
You know, we've had so much travel, this year with playing 56 games on the road that I think has really been able to have our guys have a real good focus, for these, past 8 or 9 games. And I believe in this team. I think we can really make a run here, and I think that guys will continue to play well here in Hoover.
The Tide getting it done offensively today, but fueled by the performance of pitcher Jeff Bramlett. In his first SEC tournament start, he threw a complete game. 10 strikeouts on 110 pitches.
Well, I wanted to pitch an SEC tournament since I was probably 10, so it was definitely something I was looking forward to, and I finally got the opportunity. I just wanted to go out and give our team a chance to win, and that's what we did. Our offense got going, put up 6 runs. I mean, you couldn't ask for more.
Jeff has really been our stopper all year. When we've needed wins, he's been the guy on Sundays that has went and got them for us. So today he had command of all 3 pitches. I thought his fastball was really good. He made good pitches when you have to make them, particularly in the middle of their lineup, when their power guys came up.
With the win, the Tide are staying alive and get breakfast baseball tomorrow at 9:30 against Texas A&M. Reporting from the Hoover Met, Jenn Chapman for TITV.
Thank you, Jen. So it'll be more breakfast baseball, as you heard Jen say, tomorrow morning 9:30 against number 3 seed Texas A&M. Now, Bramlett got it done today. Who will Mitch Gaspard throw tomorrow? Well, didn't say following the game, but you have to think that their number 1 weekend starter, Taylor Gilbo, will be ready to go. He hasn't pitched since Thursday night against Vanderbilt. He has had a lot of tough luck this year where he's pitched well but been outdueled by the other team's number 1 starter. But Gilbo's ready to go. Really, the pitching staff in pretty good shape. So, how likely is it Alabama could make a run to the weekend? I don't want to go out on a limb and say that it's very likely, but now they are in the double elimination format. They lost a lot of close ball games this year. They're capable of beating anybody in this tournament. So we will see if Alabama can make a magical run and, get themselves into an NCAA regional. It will take some work, but, you just got to keep playing until you're not playing anymore. And now they got a chance after knocking off Ole Miss today in decisive fashion, I might add, 6-1. Great starting pitching, 2-out clutch hitting. That's the recipe for success in tournament baseball. Well, another Alabama spring sport is right in the middle of its postseason as well. The Crimson Tide softball team swept through the Tuscaloosa NCAA Regional this past weekend. Alabama outscored their opponents 28-1 in 3 games to win their 11th consecutive NCAA Regional. Now, they will have played in every Super Regional since the Super Regional format began. They're the only team in college softball that can say that. Pat Murphy excited for the chance to play the Oklahoma Sooners beginning this coming Friday night, a program he has a lot of respect for.
We saw them in the national championship. We played them last year at the World Series. You know, that's another team we need to start doing a series with because we respect the heck out of them, and whoever comes out of that regional is going to be a good opponent.
What we've said all week or all year is that we want to peak at the right time, and for us to have a regional tournament like we did from top to bottom, pitching, defense, offense, everybody. You saw, I think almost everyone in our lineup hit a home run this weekend. So it was really awesome to see, and hopefully we can carry that over into Supers.
All right, here's your Super Regional information. It begins on Friday at Rhodes Stadium. You'll see that ESPN will televise. Of course, the winner of that first game has a big leg up. It's best 2 out of 3. Game 2, Saturday at 4 o'clock. The if necessary game will follow that 4 o'clock game on Saturday as Alabama tries to get back to Oklahoma City to the Women's College World Series, but they'll have to vanquish the Oklahoma Sooners to do it. A rematch of the 2012 Women's College World Series championship final that Alabama won and took home their only national championship in school history. Well, this past week was also a busy one at the Regions Tradition over at Shoal Creek. A couple of Alabama head coaches got to hit the golf course and play in the Celebrity Pro-Am. Nick Saban and Avery Johnson both participated. Coach Johnson was actually paired with the eventual tournament winner, Jeff Maggard. Nick Saban got some attention for comments he made on the new college football playoff.
College football is unique that, you know, a lot of young men get a lot of positive self-gratification from being able to go to a bowl game, and that's always been a special thing. And that by having a playoff, we would minimize the interest in other bowl games, which I think is sort of what happened, and I really kind of hate to see that for college football.
And coming up on Tider Insider TV, one director of athletics who plays a very prominent role in the playoff responds to Coach Saban's comments. And we'll discuss, is the college football playoff changing the game? One columnist even suggests that Saban might be ready to hang it up because of the way the game's changed. We'll talk about all that next. And coming up as well, we'll be welcoming your phone calls, emails, and tweets. The information, as always, on your screen, 205-348-WVUA. That's 348-9882 is the phone number. TV at WVUATV.com is the email. And you can reach us on Twitter using the hashtag TiderInsiderTV. We'll be right back with the only show that takes you inside the Crimson Tide. The one, the only Tider Insider Television will return right after this. Well, you heard Nick Saban's comments before we went to the commercial break. Coach saying that college football's playoff has minimized interest in the other bowl games. Now, as you might imagine, the Arkansas AD, Jeff Long, who also happens to chair the new college football playoff committee, had some comments responding to Coach Saban. Long says that coaches at the highest level aren't aware of what's really going on in the real world. He went on to say that bowl games and interest in other bowl games are higher than they have ever been before. You see his statement there on your screen. Jeff Long, of course, taking a different approach than has Alabama head coach Nick Saban. So here's the question right now. You know, whether Coach Saban likes it or not, it's here. There's going to be a 4-team playoff for the foreseeable future. At some point, it might even go to 8 teams or who knows, even more. So whether you like it or you don't like it, you've got to deal with it. Last year, Alabama got into the playoff, got knocked out by Ohio State, as we know, in the semifinal at the Sugar Bowl. So it is more difficult now than it was before to win a national championship. You got to win the Southeastern Conference Division Championship, more than likely, the SEC title game, and then win 2 games to take home a title. But there's been a lot of changes since Nick Saban came to Alabama. A lot of people feel like those changes have been because Nick Saban started to dominate the speed-up offenses, you know, the fast pace of the game, a lot of different rule changes in terms of recruiting. And Kevin Skarbinski, very popular columnist for the Birmingham News and AL.com, even suggested that the playoff issue, the changes in the game, might be enough to push Saban out of coaching. I think that's a stretch. I think Coach is still loving the game of college football, even with the numerous changes we've had the last couple of years. In fact, he has handled them pretty well. Alabama, of course, 2 years ago was a play away from winning the SEC West and being undefeated and having a chance to go to the SEC championship game. They made it to 11-0 before losing that heartbreaker to Auburn. Then last year, of course, got into the playoffs. So it's not like Alabama's fallen off the map. And I think he wants to prove that he can win a national championship with all the changes in the game and with this new playoff format. So I think he's going to be around for a few more years, but only time will tell. Well, one thing we know is that Nick Saban has a great track record of producing NFL talent in Tuscaloosa, a fact that we saw again this year. Let's head around some more NFL rookie camps and check in on some former Bama players. In Nashville, Justin Fowler is getting comfortable in the Titans minicamp. While all eyes are on first-round pick Marcus Mariota, Fowler is getting used to his position, which is fullback, but he reminds us why he's not just a typical bruiser in the backfield.
I love it because, like I said, it makes the defense stay very honest, and for you can just go up field and knock a guy out when they don't expect him to run. Yeah, I'm just not a traditional fullback. I mean, I can play a little running back, and I can line up in different spots and give you a mismatch all over the field, so that's the biggest thing for me.
Another former Crimson Tide player impressing his head coach, Ari Kwanjo, is back at home in Washington, D.C. with the Redskins. He's not only been impressive on the field, but his coach, Jay Gruden, is equally impressed with his ability to be a student of the game.
Kwanjo is a detailed guy. He loves football, man. He practices hard. He wants to hear every ounce of criticism, every ounce of coaching that he can get, and he tries to translate that onto the next rep. And a great kid, both of them. But, you know, for the first 3 practices, I don't want to sound overly optimistic, but I am with those 2 guys. They've done some good things.
Gruden also liking what he sees from another former Crimson Tide player. Blake Sims is in camp with the Redskins as a running back. You know, he's played running back. He's played defensive back. Of course, last year made a name for himself as a quarterback. But the coach says one thing you notice about Blake Sims, he's a natural. People just can't tackle the guy.
You know, he's come in and he looks like he's been playing a position for a while. You know, he's got to get his pads down a little bit, but we don't have pads on. But he runs a little upright, but he's got some natural running ability. You saw that in college at the quarterback position when he breaks contain. I never ever saw the first guy tackle the guy. You know, he always made the first guy miss and the second guy miss, and he always got the 4 or 5 yards needed for the first down. And he's got some natural running ability, and it's good to see him out here. We'll get another good look at him today and see what happens.
Of course, Blake trying to follow in the footsteps of Denard Robinson, the former Michigan quarterback who made it as a running back with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Of course, Robinson's time in the backfield could be less than it was last season because of a rival of another Alabama rookie, T.J. Yeldon. Well, still more Tider Insider TV coming up, including a former Crimson Tide quarterback being inducted into the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. And next, we'll be welcoming your phone calls, emails, and tweets. Again, you can get in touch with us at 205-348-9882. Email us at TITV@WVUATV.com, or you can ask us a question or make a comment on Twitter using the hashtag TiderInsiderTV. We'll be right back with more Tider Insider Television on WVUA-TV. Former Crimson Tide quarterback Jay Barker, national champion in 1992, got the call from the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. What an honor. He was inducted this weekend along with several other Alabama legends. Jay not only played in Tuscaloosa, winning that national championship, as I mentioned, in 1992, but he also played Little League, high school, and professionally in the state in the XFL, so he knows all about Alabama football at every level. Congratulations to Jay, and we'll hear from a couple of Bama basketball legends a little bit later on the show. Right now, though, I want to welcome in Rodney Orr, as we said, not with us in person, but now on the phone. Rodney, you there?
I am here, Gary.
Well, good to have you, man. We've covered some interesting subjects, so hang tight. We're going to take some phone calls and some emails and let you join in on the conversation. First up tonight is Roger. Hey, Roger, welcome into the program. How are you?
Hello, Gary. I'm doing fine. I've got 3 things here.
Okay.
First off, I'd like to congratulate you and compliment you and Lawrence Sewell and Cassie Riley Bosher on the SEC Network play-by-play of the softball games. It was fantastic.
Thank you so
Second,
much.
We need to get Tider Insider extended to an hour and put Miss Jenn Chapman on there with you all, because she did a fantastic job while you were doing the play-by-play.
She does.
And the last thing, I wrote Mr. Dan Snyder the Washington Redskins. I'm a big Redskin fan. My dad was a Redskin fan, and these senators, it's got nothing more to do than complain about the name Redskins, which to me it's an honor to the Native American. I wrote him about getting a kickoff classic and getting Alabama up there, since there's approximately 4,500 to 5,000 UA Red Elephant Club members within a 100-mile radius. And I got a letter back this week, and it's from Mr. Carl Schneiber, and he really likes the idea, and hopefully they'll get a kickoff classic and Bama can get up there.
Hey, great idea, Roger. I tell you, Nick Saban does a lot of recruiting up there. We mentioned Ari Kwanjo earlier, and he loves to play those big games around the country. That's a great idea. Good phone call. Thank you, and thank you for the compliment, and I'm sure Jen appreciates it as well. All right, we got an email question. I'm going to bring Rodney in on this one in regards to what do you think of the idea of a 50-plus field goal, 50-yard-plus field goal equaling 4 points in college football instead of 3? That's from Earl and Lincoln. Rodney, you know what? I mean, they're tweaking the rules all the time now. You try a 50-yard field goal and make it. Do you deserve more than 3 points? What's your opinion?
Well, I think it's kind of an interesting idea. If nothing else, I would sure hate to be up by 3 and somebody kick a 50-plus yarder and cost me the game, though. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, you know, you'd want to be up by 4 late in the game if that were the rule. But you know, right, they're looking at all kinds of things, trying to modernize the game, constantly keep up fan interest. So, you know what? It's not a bad idea. We'll see if that comes to fruition down the road. I know the NFL, of course, obviously dealing with the extra point, trying to make it a little more frequent in terms of missing, talking about backing it up to 33 yards. That might be something college football looks at as well. Well, more to come on TITV, including another impressive showing by Justin Thomas on the PGA Tour. And could Alabama's golf team keep the dream of a three-peat alive? And more of your phone calls, emails, and tweets. Rodney is with us on the phone, so if you've got a question for him, go ahead and, by all means, call in now, 205-348-WVUA. That's 348-9882. We'll be right back with more after this. It's been a nice run the last couple of weeks for former Bama golfer Justin Thomas. He set a course record at TPC Sawgrass last week with 10 birdies in a single round. And this weekend he finished at 11 under par at Quail Hollow for a top 10 finish at the Wells Fargo Championship, tying for 7th. It's Thomas's 4th top 10 finish this season, so he is getting closer and closer to winning for the first time on the PGA Tour. Not so much luck, though, for his former team. Alabama will not be able to three-peat in men's golf. J.C. Hill's team falling short this weekend at the Noblesville, Indiana Regional. They won't make it to the NCAA championships. You know, they finished runner-up, then won it back-to-back, so they have had a nice run. Younger team this year, still a really good finish, 7, you know, not bad, but look for them to get back in the hunt for a national championship next year. All right, let's head back. Well, actually not going to the phone lines. We got an email that we are going to take. Let's take a look at our email question in regards to Marlon Humphrey. And it's from Rick, wants to know, I'm interested in the progress or lack thereof of Marlon Humphrey. Where does he stand? Well, Rodney, we've talked about this before, and I know a lot of people expected him to come in and play as a true freshman, but from my understanding, Coach Saban sat down with Bobby Humphrey and the family and discussed it with Marlon. They all agreed a redshirt was probably in his best interest. But this year, look out, Rod. I think we both agree he's got a chance to get on the field and make an impact at cornerback.
Yeah, I think one of the things that, you know, people sometimes fail to understand, they see these 5 stars and all that, and they expect an immediate contribution. There's certainly an adjustment for some of these kids when they come to this level. And I think when you look at Marlon, he had all the athletic ability and, you know, the speed and all of those things. I think one thing that he needed was an opportunity to spend some time in the weight room, get bigger, get stronger, kind of learn the system, and it would allow him an opportunity to really compete this year. And I think, you know, this year you'll see more of Marlon Humphrey. I think he's got a lot of tools, obviously, physically. I think, too, Gary, he does some things with when the ball's in the air. He seems to play it really well, and I think Marlon Humphrey's going to be an excellent player. It's just a matter of, you know, terms of development.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a really talented guy. Like you said, has all the tools. Well, Rodney, we are going to cut it short with you tonight. But I tell you what, didn't get to see you here in the studio, but we'll see you in just a little bit at Dickey's Barbecue down there on 69 South. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right. More to come on TITV. Thanks, by the way, for the phone calls and emails. Next up, 2 new members of the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame tell us what they thought of Avery Johnson's hiring as head basketball coach for Crimson Tide. Stay with us. We're live in Tuscaloosa on a very pretty Tuesday evening. We'll be right back. Back to the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, a big weekend for a couple former Crimson Tide hoop stars. Enos Watley, Enamo, about as good a playmaker as ever come through the University of Alabama, and Derek McKee, 6'10" and smooth as silk, part of the new class of the ASHOF. And they were asked about Alabama's new basketball coach, Avery Johnson. They're both familiar with him from their days in the NBA.
When I stopped laughing, because Avery and I go back to when he played for Seattle when he first came in the league. So we got a little history, so we go back a long ways. I think it's a great hire. Avery's a great guy, a good coach, and I think he'll do well.
I know him very well. Avery and I, when I played in the NBA, we kind of was battling for the same job a long time. But I believe he would do real well because you know, he's such a feisty little general and everything, and he's a great personality, you know, and I think he's a perfect hire for the job at Alabama because, you know, recruitment and just his experience in the NBA, I think he'll do a great job.
Here's the entire induction class. Congratulations to all these guys, including Tom Roberts, longtime Crimson Tide Sports Network broadcaster, and Mike Slive, the outgoing SEC commissioner. Great class of folks right there going in 2015. Still got to get my buddy Tommy Wilcox in that Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. Wake up. It's time to get him in there. All right, that is going to do it for the program tonight. Dinner time tonight down in Taylorville, Dickey's Barbecue on 69 South. Love that Dickey's Barbecue. Come out and join us in about 15 or 20 minutes from now if you want to talk some sports with us. And you can, as always, catch a replay of the show tonight at 10:30 or anytime on our website. Some sad news, but I tell you what, I don't think it's going to be sad because I think Jesse Williams, he said on the Seattle Seahawks website he's going to beat this kidney cancer, been diagnosed, but is ready to get after it, and he's a winner. Good night, everybody.